it's something that the Lord has, well, I have lived it, I guess, way too many times, more than I would like to. But it's also something that every single person goes through at different times for different reasons. And I am firmly believe that in church it's great, what we do and then to read and to teach about the Bible, but also the Lord wants us to have things that we can use, right? When like your stuff, when we don't know what to do. It is a song that it changed my life one time as Kirk Franklin or song, and he was singing a song that said, "What do I do? Teach me what to do with the tongues and stuff. What do I do when I am not at church?" And then on Monday, something happens and I got hit. At church, everything feels great and it's wonderful, right? But what do I do when my day goes really bad? When when there's abuse, or when there's hurt, when there's all kinds of stuff, what do I do with that? When I'm feeling horrible, what do I do? Yes, I can pray. And it's amazing, I pray a lot. But sometimes I feel the same and I don't know. I say, okay, Lord, except that you do a miracle. I still have all this inside me and I don't know how to react. I don't even know what to do. Right? And then, yes, he gave us peace. And yes, he said, but he also gave us things to do. Right? Wise things to do that we can use when we feel bad or things happen. And what part of what I always done that for many years is inner healing, and then it's what I work most of it, what I study, and then there's a lot of stuff I do in many places. So I talk to many people, and it's about that because yes, we receive the Lord, and yes, our spirit is completely changed. It belongs to Him and all that. But our soul still carry a whole bunch of stuff. And yes, God can do, and I see Him doing changes somebody in one moment, and then they're completely different. But that is a miracle. And miracles happen instantly, yes. But healing is a process. Just like you see, you cut yourself, takes time. It doesn't just heal in one moment. And it is little by little it's being healed. Well, our souls need that too, our hearts, because sometimes we're hurt so many times and we don't know what to do. And then it needs time and it's healing. And then sometimes we feel like if we don't feel okay this Sunday and the next Sunday, and I keep asking for prayer, so I am failing or I'm not spiritual enough. No, we are just human. And that's why God gave us time, because He understands how He made us. I mean, He made us. So He knows that we need time and that we need process. And they also need to know. And I wished in my life that I had learned things way earlier. It has saved me a whole bunch of headaches and a whole bunch of pain. So I want to talk today about grief. Grief is something that each one of us had been through at some point in our lives. Now, if somebody said grief, you think about death, right? And usually people say, oh, is that somebody died? Well, yeah. And then we have people that we had lost in our lives. Or we will. But actually, grief is so much bigger than just that. And we always just put it in that. Grief is the loss of something. It can be a job. It can be a dream. It can be a relationship. It can be a church. It can be many things, not just the death of a person. Right? So it's what interesting enough is that children grieve. Babies grieve. Even inside the womb, and after, they grieve. And then we sit and acting out sometimes and we think, what is wrong with you? I don't understand you. What is it? Well, they're grieving. They don't have the words to understand or even to say it. Sometimes they can't say, but they react and they change. And then you are figuring out, what is wrong with you? Well, maybe they are grieving. Grieving because they had to change the schools. Maybe we change our house. Maybe we're going to another town. Maybe we had to go away from family. Maybe it's so many things that a child can grieve on. But we don't think about it. We just think, oh, come on, you're not being obedient or something. But maybe sometimes they're just reacting to something they don't know how to explain. And they don't know how to deal with, right? And they need help in that. But also adults. Sometimes we feel all kinds of emotions because grief has 5 different steps. So we feel things and sometimes say, what is wrong with me? I don't even figure out what is wrong with me. I can be very happy, I can be angry, and I'm trying to negotiate, and I'm trying to all kind of stuff, and I don't know why. Well, maybe we're grieving. Maybe we're grieving things that we lost, hopes that we had, desire with, whatever it is, right? So many things that we can lose, and we can lose that make us grieve. And if we don't understand it and we are not able to work with it, then we will continue in that. And then the hurt doesn't get better, just get worse. If we don't heal a wound, it's going to get infected. It is just going to grow and get worse. It's not going to disappear. We think sometimes that we just ignore it, and we ignore life sometimes. It just go away, but life just doesn't go away. Feelings just don't disappear because they are inside and they are in the subconscious. So we can maybe ignore them, but they are there. And they are going to come at some point. Emotionally, physically, or you just exploded, or something happened and you don't know, because they're just there if we don't deal with them. So we can put them in a like thing and then close it and put it away, like we put some stuff because it's closed, it's done. But we don't do that. It's like an open file that keeps coming up through life and it just gets bigger. So we need to work in that. And so I'm going to, it's 5 steps about it. Now the Bible says in Lamentations, which is a very depressive things we could say, but Jeremiah, they think it's Jeremiah. They are not completely sure, but in Lamentations 3:20, they said the prophet Jeremiah is saying, I will never forget the awful time as I grieve over my loss. They're talking that possibly it was grieving the death of King Josiah and the destruction in Jerusalem by the Babylonians. So he's talking what he feels. So I think, sometimes we think, I can't really be expressive. I can say what is going in my life. But hey, it's in the Bible for a reason. What is in the Bible? What is he grieving? What is David grieve a lot in Psalms? Why? Because God wants us to take it out. Because we cannot, and we are not made to carry and to keep all this stuff. Because it just will be too much. And we are not made for it, but he is. So he wants us to talk it to and to express. He wants to deal with it so that we can move. If not, they become like change that pulls us down. Heavy change. And then we cannot move and be happy. So he said that. Jeremiah said that. Also Ecclesiastes 3:4 said, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance. So it is a time to be happy. It's also okay. It's a time to grieve, as long as we're working in the process and we can go through it. If we do that, it will be fine because it's the way that we will process and then we will heal. But we need to do it. If we ignore it, again, like I said, it's just like a cat that is not taken care of. It just gets worse. So there are 5 steps to the grieving process, okay? So they apply to children, to older people, to young people, to a death of a person. Of course, it's very deep. But also the loss of something we really wanted or love, or the loss of changing, a sickness that changed a person. It's a grieving process. When they were able to, now they can walk or they get something. They are growing to grieve. My sister just lost the ability to walk. And she knew that will may happen, but actually happened. And now she's in the process of grieving the loss of her legs, or the ability that she had to even move more freely. And that is the same process that somebody died. It is the same process, that I hope to get in this college, but they say no to me. It sounds, okay, I'm okay. I can deal with big deal. No, it is, because it will create the process of grieving, and it's okay, because we need to go through it. So sometimes we don't see the importance of it. And all of us are going to losses or something, right? Or the move or to another place, or whatever circumstance it is, we all have and we'll go through at some point. So, we're going to go to to the process, but also what to do. Some practical things to do with grieving, right? Not just the spiritual ones, yes, because we need to pray and ask a lot to God, but also what can we do to help, right? So the first one, you probably know, and if not, we just a reminder of it, and if you don't know, I will help you to know. The shock, right? When somebody die, and or let's say somebody's, yes, let's talk about that one. Because 5 years ago, in a matter of 6 months or less, we lost 7 people that we loved dearly, including my mother, my sister, my husband's grandmother, and dear friends, and my brother-in-law. It's like an incredibly difficult time there. And it was one grievance after another one. I didn't know what to do, right? And it was a crazy place. So I would talk about that one. And I said, please, Lord, this is, I don't like it. My brother just died uh, almost a month ago. So I love my country. I do all kinds of stuff that creates a lot of grievance. So I had to learn a lot of ways so to be able to handle it so I can survive and I could continue, right? So the first one is the shock, right? If somebody suddenly died or they're even being sick for a long time or they are old, it doesn't matter. My mother was 91 and I knew, it's a good life, but it didn't matter and the time that she left. But the shock, actually they're gone, right? Even so my mind knew it, but actually when it happened, it still created this incredible shock in my system. And that shock, it helps us to survive the loss. It actually is a helping mechanism to be able to deal with what happened. To the shock of somebody dying or losing the job, or somebody tells you you're fired or not the university, or something happening in the marriage, whatever it is. Suddenly, we lost something. And that shock, it helps us to be able to do something or to survive, to be able to make it. Because if we don't, we will just fall apart into pieces and not be able to do anything, right? So that one, it really helps us to survive the loss that that just happened, in whatever way that is. After that, usually, and they are not in order, sometimes they go back and forth and intertwine, except the first one, that is the shock, right? But then after that, we got the anger. And the anger, and we're going this way. It can be negotiation first, it can be anger, but let's say it is anger. And the anger of what is happened. What is happening to me? This is not fair. This is not right. I lost my father when I was 12 years old, and even so, he didn't. We have a good relationship, but he didn't really love me. I still was hoping that maybe one day he will. Suddenly, he's gone, right? And I was mad. I was mad with him. After I was sad, like shocked, I was like, why did you go? What is wrong with you? I need you. And then after that, I was angry with God for many years because he took him and then he left me without father. And I had to negotiate all that for a long time. Because I said, what did you you knew I needed a father. He never loved me, and I'm hoping that maybe now he's gone, and now for sure he's not going to love me or talk to me. So I was angry, but it's okay, because I always said this to people when I counsel them or talk. I say, you need to feel so that you can heal. If we don't feel, we don't heal. Now, we don't like it all the time, because sometimes we have to open things that are wrong and there's infection inside. We need to reopen and clean, and then you can see the there's a doctor washing cuts to clean it. It's no fun, and it hurts, and it stinks, and everything you want, but if we don't do it, it cannot heal correctly. So sometimes we have to. So it is important to feel. And sometimes we are afraid to feel the pain again, but we have to be able to continue. Sometimes, like a bone that is broken but is healed the wrong way, if you go to a specialist, they had to break the bone to put it correctly, because even so you feel, I can function, and it's okay, but it's not really functioning, right? Because, I can't do it. It hurts a little bit and it's wrong, but no. God doesn't want us to have just whatever, and little things that work okay but not okay, and I get used to it, and I get used to the pain, or I get used to the frustration, I get used to whatever's happening. He wants us to be healthy and able to run, not just to kind of walk, but able to be free. But we had to go through the process. If we don't, we just get stuck, and then continue back there instead of being able to move forward, which is what he wants. So after that, we can have the negotiation, right? And I usually, if I had done better, if I had good better, I had been a better person, if I had done my duties, if I had taken care of them better, if I had worked better, if I had studied more. And if we negotiate with ourselves, what did we do wrong that caused the loss? Not necessarily we did anything wrong, right? If a person is sick, well, they're sick. If you lost a job, not necessarily because we did something wrong, but maybe it's in the other side. They are the ones that did something wrong, but we are the one that had the loss, right? And in a relationship, maybe the other person is the responsible, but I am trying to negotiate, thinking, it's my fault. I did something wrong, and then I will then grieve what I didn't do or what I could have changed. Yet we cannot go back. I can't even go back what happened a minute ago. What is gone, right? And then even so, we love to, every single person, we love to go back and fix things, change and do them better. Yes, we would love to, but we can't. We can't. And when it's done, it's done. What we said, it says. So we have to be careful what we said because we cannot take it back. Once come out of the mouth, even I said sorry 1,000 times, and I said, I'm so sorry. Well, it was said. Sadly, it was said. Now produce something. And remember, one word of I don't like you, it will take 1,000 words of I like you to erase one that said I don't like you. That's why it's so important what we said, because even say, it's okay. And then Elsa said, always stick and stone, something. That's not true. We are not made of iron. We have a heart. And even say, I'm okay. It doesn't bother me. Well, it does bother us, but we kind of trying to put it away and try to say it's okay. Don't you? Words hurt, and they produce something. So we need to fix it, saying 1,000 times the opposite to it, so that the person can exchange that one. So negotiation. What did I do? What did I do? And if the doctor didn't write, if was the person sick, they had given the right shot. Maybe if I had not said that, maybe but it will never be enough. That negotiation won't take us to any place because now, even so, we try to negotiate, we cannot go back. So anyway, it's doesn't. But it's a part of the grieving, and it's okay. Now, the problem is when we get stuck in one of them. The problem is not we feel them. The problem is when we get stuck, like a rat, and keep going. That is when it becomes a problem, right? As long that we keep moving from one to another one, we are okay. But if we stuck, then we need to get unstuck, because that will really hurt us and destroy us. Then we have the depression, right? I'm not talking about depression, not the clinical depression, but depression for a loss that's very deep. It makes us very sad, right? And then it's how we respond to a loss. For a time, we had this sadness, right? And sometimes we had the sadness, and suddenly we had the anger, and suddenly we had this, and then we're going like this, it's like a ping pong match, right? And we don't even know what we feel. It's okay, as long as we know what's happened, and the other person, people around us, know what's happening, right? When that happened, my mother, I got stuck in the sadness. I got stuck in depression. I couldn't function, and I get lost in my own bedroom. I couldn't even find the way to the bathroom in dark. I in a bed right now forever, and I couldn't even get to it. And I trying to find the bed, sit there and cry because I couldn't even connect to where it was, because of the amazing amount of pain I have when I lost my mother, my sister, and them. And I needed help. And at that time, I couldn't get out myself. I couldn't. I tried, I prayed, I did everything. I sang. I had to talk to a doctor. I had to talk. He was a psychiatrist from Florida. He worked in a church. And then he talked to me. And I said, I don't know how to get out of this one. I really don't know. I said, please help me, because I'm seeing myself going down and down and that. I don't know how to do it. And he helped me. And he helped me, and he told me something I still using. And it's not like he talked for me forever, but he said, Lucy, your mom's life or death was never your choice. It's always God's. So I said, doesn't matter what you didn't do, it wasn't your choice. So let go, because it doesn't belong to you. Because I was with her, I was taking care of her, I was in the hospital, and I felt so responsible. I couldn't let go. He said, it was never yours. And that helped me to get out and to say, okay, and breathe, and even so I keep crying and still. But it changed what that cycle that couldn't go end. The going in this straight track, right? Going, and I couldn't stop. And then finally, we had accepting. When we start to accept, and sometimes we do it completely at the end. Sometimes we just for a little bit accept it. I go back into the sadness, or I go back into. But I know that it will be okay. It's when we accept the reality, and it will never be okay. It's the point. It will never be okay that we lose somebody that we love. Even so we know in heaven, but we still miss them, right? It's never okay that we lost the job, or we have had to move to another house, another country, whatever situation was, and they hurt us. It will never be okay, but we can live with it. We can accept it, and then we can live with it. And we can continue moving, knowing that it will be okay. So, that the brain connects in different ways. And what is interesting is the physical connection with a person is 10%. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about my mom also. Physical connection with a person is 10%, interestingly, right? But the mind and the spirit connects in the 90%. It's why they can die, and 30 years later, when you start to talk about them, you love them and you cry like they just died the year or the day before. Because love never dies. God never. He's a spirit. He's love. God is love. He doesn't have love. He is love. That's him. So when he gives us love, when we love him, that doesn't never disappear. It's always there. It's why we always love. And even people that lost a baby, even people that lost a pregnancy, it always will, because they love that little one, regardless. Or you lost whoever, or something, it will not just disappear, because love stays. Memories stay, right? Feelings stay. It's why when somebody dies, we grieve the loss of the touch, right? We cannot touch them. We cannot feel them. Sometimes I just say, man, I wish I just could hug my mom or hear her voice. I can not even remember my father's voice. And it's one of the saddest things for me, because he died over 40 years ago, and I cannot remember his voice. And in that time, we never have recordings or stuff, so I have an idea in my head, right? But I cannot tell you exactly how it sounds. And it makes me sad, because the love is there. I love him. I love my father like he would never loved, because I love him. And I love him with I could hold him or hold his hand, but also mostly I love him with my spirit and with my soul. I love him with my heart. So that love is there. Every memory is there. If I go in the bank of memories, I can tell you how much stuff. I leave it like it just happened, right? So that is, sometimes, you go to some place and then you smell a cookie or you smell a soup, and then immediately your brain produces a protein that remind you, it smells just like my grandma's cookies, or it smells just like my mom's soup, or it smells just that perfume is just like my brother or my sister, or it smells just like the job I used to have. They have this, or it smells like whatever. The husband, that left, or whatever it was. But it produces something. So immediately you think, and it produces a feeling, because the brain reminds us and open the file and say, here, and remember that? And then I feel all these emotions again. And what do we need to do? We need to manage the emotions. What do we do? So, okay, I have all these feelings, yeah. What do we do with the feelings? Well, we need to manage the emotions. How do we manage the emotions, right? Sometimes, well, I'm going to read a few scriptures and then we'll have a few ideas here. It says Proverbs 18:14, a healthy spirit conquers adversity, but what can you do when your spirit is crushed? Well, it's why we're going to talk. What do we do when it hurts? When life hurts, because life hurts many times, in many ways, because we are living a world that is not perfect, in a world that, yeah, is quite imperfect, and life is not fair. It's just not fair. Heaven is, but life is not. It should, but it's not. We would love it, but it's not. Because we have an enemy. Because we live in a zone, a war zone. Because we are here, and until we get home, we live in a war zone. A war zone when there's a lot of stuff, right? Sickness, disease, all kind of stuff. Also a lot of love, and also a lot of help, and it's why we're here. We're here to bring answers. We're here to bring light. We're here with a purpose. Until we go, until we're done. We are here for a reason. We're not just to pass life. We are here for a reason. Each one of us have a purpose and a right. It's why we are here. God's put us to be answers and to be help, right? But to be able to do that, we need to be healthy also, and we need to deal with stuff to help others to deal with it, right? They say hurt people hurt people. Well, healthy people helps people to be healthy. And then they're able to help them. And use the pain. I learned that my pain that I lived through in my life, which has been a lot more than I would like it, should have a purpose. Pain has to have a purpose. And we had to take it and use it for something good. We had to use it for something that brings God glory and something that is a testimony of God's love. You know, scars are reminded of where we have been, but they don't dictate where we are going. They just remind us, right? They remind us that we survive, we're survivors. And a scar is a reminder only that we are a survivor, and that's good. Some have more scars than others. Dear Lord, I think sometimes I could see my heart is probably a whole bunch of scars there. They probably look quite bad. But actually, it's beautiful to God because we let Him heal. I don't know if I told you guys before, but and if now repeated, in Japan, they take these beautiful vases that they have, right? And they break, sometimes they break. And how they fix it is with gold. They put gold in the cracks and they put it together. And they made this amazing masterpiece that is unique as the breaks that they have. But it's so awesome and it's so strong, it's so beautiful. And God heals our cracks with love. And in all the cuts and the breaks, He put it with beauty. And for Him, it's beautiful. It's not ugly, it's beautiful. Because it's His masterpieces that He put back together. So I said, okay, well, then you look at it that way, mine probably looks quite awesome because it's a lot of breaking. It had been through my whole life, so He had put a lot of gold in there, and I keep putting it together, right? Psalm 34:18 says, if your heart is broken, you will find God right there. If you are kicked in the gut, He will help you catch breath. Sometimes it feels like that. When they give you a bad news, when they, you feel like that somebody hit you and you cannot breathe. And you have to try to catch that breath because you are bending down and it feels like everything is going down. He, the author of life and love, breathing us and give us breath and help us to stand up again and help us to catch that breath, right? Then we think that we're dying right here. After my mother died for a long time, I said, it hurts to breathe. I can't even find a way to breathe. It's just, I can't get it. Even that hurts. But every time when I ask Father, He gave me breath, and he helped me to continue and to breathe. Isaiah 43:19 says, "For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness, and I will create rivers in the dry wasteland." And that is what he does. And the good thing about life is that even life is sometimes so wrong and sometimes so imperfect, sometimes so unjust. We have a just Father. We have a good Father. And we have the one that breathes in us, the one that holds us, the one that hides us, the one that fixes us, the one that protects us. He never alone. We never be alone because we have him. And even when we feel that we are alone, where are you? Right? Like after when I was upset with God, and I was like, where are you? Why don't you care? I can hear you, I can feel you, I don't know where you are. Never so close to me that when I was hurting, but I could not feel him because of my hurts. If not to understand that he held me. And then because he was holding me, I didn't fall apart. I said, I don't even know how to make it. I don't even know how I went through it. Well, because of him. I don't even know how I was able to even, live and continue and fix things or talk because of him. He holds us and he helps us. So what do we do? Like I said, we need to talk. That's one of the first thing we need to do. We cannot push feelings down. It's not healthy. It was actually make us physically sick. We cannot hold the stress. They always talks about stress, and that make us say, well, yeah, that make us, actually, it can hurt us physically because we are not made to have that. We are not made. We got to give it. We need to open. We need to talk. And then one of the things is this. The devil only has control what is in the dark. When we bring things to the light, he loses the power. He loses the power because now God can intervene. Because now God will tell truth. But we need to talk, to express, to be honest, and to be raw, and to be us. Trust me, it doesn't scare God, but if you talk to the right person, it will scare them either. But we need to bring things out. We need to get rid of this stuff because infection inside, that will hurt us. And then we need to get it out, right? Again, like I said, it's absolutely necessary to heal, to feel so we can heal. Feel it again, cry, scream, whatever we need to, in a safe environment with the same person, we can do it. It doesn't make us less special. It actually makes us his kids. It makes us human, and then, it makes us spiritual because I said, Lord, I'm weak, and when I'm weak, you're strong. And then the Bible is full of weak people that became strong through him, because when I can do it, he can. When I'm trying to do it on my own, then I'm an orphan, because orphans have to take care of themselves. And I tried to take care of myself way too many times. And still, my first thing is, I can feed it. I can do it. I can deal with my own deals. I don't need God, or I don't need nobody else. Well, I know that good. But I thought, because I had to do it way too many times in my life, so that is what I learned is my default mechanism. Okay, then I take care of this. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to do anything because I don't have value myself to ask for help. So why do I do that if I don't think nobody will care about helping me? No, God probably. So I just trying to be brave and strong, but we are not that strong. And then we have a Father, and we are now orphans. So we can go to him, and we can go to save people and say, please help me. Please help me, because I need help. And that actually is being brave. And it's actually said, here I am. Please tell me. Please help me. It's also good to celebrate life and to celebrate what we do and who we are, okay? It's good that if you love somebody, it's something that it's what I'm trying to do. My mother died right before Christmas. My sister died right before Thanksgiving. They died almost 3 weeks, a little bit apart. And I said, great. Now there's two really rough. And then you know what? Is cry, complain to God. Cry because you need to. We need to get our stuff. Cry, scream. You need to go and kick some pillows. Go and take this punching box and deal with it. One time I went and took a whole bunch of Goodwill, all China, whatever it was. I went to a remote place, took all of them and get out to a place that was safe. There was rocks, and I just smashed the thing in the rocks, and I screamed as hard as I could, so much that I couldn't almost talk for 2 days. But I get it out. I just like, okay, this is so unfair, and I feel that, and I did it in a safe way, but I did. And and we need to find coping mechanisms. You know that, of course, you need to pray. And we need to ask God for grace. Grace, grace, grace. Because His grace is more than enough. Every day, grace. Every day, grace. Father, give me more grace because I need the things are not working the way I want to, where I don't know what to do. Please, give me grace. Give me your grace to help me to go through this. But also, you know what? It's a very important thing to do is after we cry, after we do that, we need to change what is happening in the brain. So we need to make a conscious effort to stop. After I cried enough or I was upset enough, whatever I had to do, I need to stand up and I need to celebrate. Celebrate life. If you lost somebody, celebrate their lives because they are more than just that time they die. My mother was so much more that the day she died. And it was so much more on her that me to remember that. I was stuck in remember that day instead of remember her life and her legacy. And I had to make an effort to go there. I had to make effort to remember. I had to effort to know that if somebody rejected me, He accepts me. That if I lost a job, He has a better one. That if I had to move a house, He'll make the grace. That my kids, the kids had to move because we moved with the kids. That God will speak to them, I help them and to have the grace they need to find new friends or to find a new school to do what they need to. That if I lost something, He will give us something. That we cannot replace somebody's life, but He will give us the grace. And then the way to live without them for the time being until we see them again. And then I had to continue asking Him for that grace. And, it is not really a formula or time. Somebody tells you, come on. Your mom died 5 years ago, and then you still crying sometimes, like she just said, yep. And then you should be okay. And you are really spiritual, you should be fine. And I'm like, no. If I'm spiritual, I should love and I hurt, but I also had to get up and celebrate. It is no time frames for grieving and the process. So if somebody tells somebody, oh, you should just pray and be fine. Okay, time doesn't really heal. It helps us to cope with it. It helps us to negotiate, it helps to live with it, but it doesn't heal. Only God heals. And only His grace and His pouring grace and His love heals. But everybody, time will take care of this. Time will take care of that. Well, no, without help. Time will just continue moving and we get stuck. And we're still there where we were before. So we need to ask God for help, but also we need to do stuff. So celebrate life, celebrate the person. So usually for my mothers, after I cry quite a bit, because I do, I get up and I do something fun. So I'm going to watch a movie, I'm going to do something, I'm going to, I don't know, people, you can plant a flower every year, you can buy something, a collective for that year. Do something that celebrates. Right, because God is a God of celebrations. So when David lost his child and God, okay, God gave him the grace that he get up and he said, okay, now I'm going to wash myself and I go to keep moving because God wills with him and God will help. I know the reasons that he's grieving were different, but still, at some point we said, okay, I cry enough. Okay, Lucy, let's don't get stuck. Let's don't get stuck in ruts. Get up. And go and do something fun that celebrates the life, or celebrates this, or celebrate that, and find a way to see His light and to see His love because He's there. He's holding us, He's helping us. I also learned that people want me to do things when I wasn't ready, and I learned that I said, and I still say it sometimes about different things. When I can, I will. And that was, it's a very important thing. When I can, when I'm ready. My father is not pressuring me. My father don't say, you have to be okay today. When I can, I will. Of course, I want to want, right? But until I can, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to, it's okay to feel, and it's okay to heal. It's okay to process. So it's very important we do that. It's very important that you start to feel the sun is coming, or you feel life is unfair, or something is happening. It's very important that we, in the practical way, that we start to breathe correctly. When you get anxious, when I get anxious, the first thing that we do is breathe really shallow and really short. We do, and we don't even realize it. And then we go like this, and then we don't have enough oxygen going to the brain. And then we panic more and more and more and go on there. And then sometimes to stop something, it was not right time or something that is, not talking, not to feel, but sometimes you have to, and then you are in this thing, sit down. And trust me, I had to practice that and learning to practice, breathe, deep. Breathe with your nose, hold it, 5, 6, or let it go with your mouth. And then go a few times to calm. To receive air in the brain, and it helps the attack, helps the thing to just go out of hand, right? It's also take a glass of water, cold water, put ice in it, drink it, or put it in a child. Sometimes if a child is completely out of control, they don't know how because they don't have the mechanism to control. Getting something very cold to drink. Or getting ice, or put ice in the head, because it's like a short circuit. And then also, they don't know what to do, it's going in sparks. How do we stop that? With something cold. So get a child a popsicle, put some ice, give it something to drink, and they will. The whole going will stop. Or ourselves too. And then we start to calm. Breathe, you calm. And that will help us to see it. So we can process. Because it gets too up there, we cannot process correctly. So we need to bring ourselves down again to be able to process, okay? So that is just a little one. It's a whole bunch more, and sometime I'll get you more. But again, let's move, let's continue healing, and if we need help, let's find help. And if we don't know what to do, ask for help. And go to God, but ask for help with a safe people, with a safe place that will help us to go. We all work together. Sometimes we pull somebody up, sometimes they pull us up, and then it's how church should be, right? We help each other. We hope, we stand, we hug, we walk, and then when I'm weak, you're strong. When I'm strong, you're weak, and then we keep moving together to accomplish and to live as a family, and to live. When it says nobody is left behind, nobody is forgotten. So we help each other. We hold each other, we pray for each other, we help, and we walk as long as we need to, and then we all go to the same place, and we help each other together the best that we can. Amen?